to talk about self. Remember, we are talking about domestic violence. This has been a serious issue in marriages, and we are focusing on marriage. All right. So let's get to know us today. And if we refer to the rules, an individual sense of self plays in the context of domestic violence, it can have a significant impact on both the victim and the abusers. So let's find out, how does self actually relate to domestic violence? Because a lot of people will be like, no, that has nothing to do with what is going on. So let's get to know this.
Okay, the role of self in domestic violence. I like to always come with the basic definition. Like, what is self? When I started my master's, then one of our lecturer, he's late now, a professor, the first question he asked in every class when you want to start, like, maybe a new intake into the school, is to tell you to write about yourself. And this is like the perception you have about yourself. And after I started practicing, I realized that there are actually some distorted perceptions that you might have about yourself that you might not know. Like, you might not even know that you have inferiority complex. You might not know that you are actually bossy and controlling. You might not know that you are an entitled person. Do you understand? So, what is self? Self is knowing oneself, knowing your capability, knowing what you can do, knowing what you can say, okay, I can vouch for myself that I may not get angry at something. Do you understand? And you are standing by it. But what of a situation where you don't really know who you are, what you are capable of doing in some circumstances? Okay, like examples of when someone make you angry. Are you capable of controlling your temper? That is what we are talking about here. Because domestic violence includes two persons, the victim and the abuser.
Okay.
Let us take it from the victim now. The victim, what for does this person see he or herself? The perception of, I'm aware of who I am. How do you know it? Is it that you are wallowing in self-pity? Is it that you have low self-esteem and you don't even know that you have it? How do you take all of this? Like, discovering who you really are. Am I ripe enough to marry this person? Do I have the psychological well-being, as in, am I up to that stage of handling this kind of person's behavior? Because we always say that there are always the red flags, even before the marriage. You as a person now, who are you even before marriage? What is your anger threshold? Because if your threshold is small, then you can't deal with someone that has anger issue. Because two fire, if they collide, what will happen? It will expand. Escalated issues. So how have you dealt with yourself? Like, I know myself. I know when someone talks down on me, I can actually tell the person, oh, don't say it like that. I'm actually like this. Okay? When somebody like me, I am into teenagers, character education and all that.
Okay.
I used to say something to my teenagers because, teenagers are prone to bully. I tell you, when someone tells you are not beautiful, then I tell you, I am more beautiful than you. Because if you are more beautiful than me, then you are ugly. If you are taller than me, you are too tall. If you are shorter than me, you are too short.
Exactly.
If you are thinner than me, you are too thin.
Too much.
If you are fatter than me, you are too fat. I am not perfect the way I am. Because the variety of life is what made life beautiful. Do you understand?
Yes.
So how often have you dealt with yourself? How well have you dealt with yourself to know that I can actually dwell in this marriage? Do you understand? Another thing is self-discovery. Have you even discovered your purpose before walking into marriage? Because these are what make women and men prone to being abused. If you don't really know who you are, anyone can just trample on you. And because you have one, maybe you have insecurity issues, you have low self-esteem, you have self-worth problem, then anybody can just talk down on you and issues will start. And sometimes you can even start forming victims when you have not become victims.
Exactly.
Do you understand? So these are what we are talking about. Then when we are talking about the abusers, how controlling can you be? Some people will control you till you fall into hellfire. You are so bossy that nobody can correct you. And you want to marry. As a man, you are just so freak. I am the head. I'm the head. The lion of the tribe of your family. What is that? You are so impervious to correction. No one can correct you. You feel like you are infallible. Nobody can tell you, okay, babe, oh, the way you are doing this, they don't do it like that. Let's do it like that. Say, who are you? Be you who? How can you tell me that? How can I be talking and you are talking? And you want to marry a woman that our mouth is very sharp. God forbid, you might send a daughter of Eve to grave if you are not careful. Do you understand? How entitled are you? You see, this entitlement mentality has cost a lot. Ordinary 2 meat can cause problem in some marriages. How can you give me 2 meats inside? Don't you know I'm the head of the family? I am entitled to a bowl of meat in this economy. And your wife is telling you, but my dear, when you were living in the morning, you only gave me 5,000. Go and bring me the pot of meat of soup. Do you understand? And the woman is wondering, my dear, but the children is there. Yeah, tomorrow is another day too. And you're telling no. I am the head of, I'm supposed to heap the biggest part of the meat. And you know, the wife might be the one too that is already hungry. Maybe he has a lot stress and all that. And you have issues. How well do you know yourself?
That's the question.
Try and know yourself before walking into marriage. To the singles watching me, please, don't say because your friend is getting married, your colleagues at work are all getting engaged, and you're like, oh God, when? Please know who you are before you walk into marriage.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about understanding self, because I know that perpetrates like domestic violence. But before I come to that, let me not jump this one first. Are there like tests that one should put his or herself into to know indeed if really I know myself? Because I think what you are, because it's more like what you are explaining now is beyond, I'm not a high-tempered person, I love peace, I love march, I love this. When they tell people, tell me about yourself, they'll start telling them what they like and what they do not like. And then most times when we find ourselves in a confined area, we will just see ourselves exploding, doing the things that normally if somebody asks us, we'll say we cannot do it. So are there some kind of tests that one should like put his or herself into to see if indeed I really know myself? Because I think this is one of the common things that has brought a lot of violence at home, in a sense that you marry someone that was never a wife beater, you see someone that was never stingy, you come across someone that was never this or that, but the moment you enter, you're beginning to see A to Z, and you are like, is this the person I got married to? Is this a person I knew 2 years ago? So are there some things that one should do? What are those kind of tests that you think we should do to be able to know ourselves? Because this is a serious matter here.
My presenter, let me tell you something today. No one just, as in, metamorphose into a state without a sign.
Okay.
If you look at sciences, there's a way a larva enters the capital stage and before it becomes a butterfly. My sister, there are always signs. We are just so, sometimes we can be so desperate, or we just say, just small, that small thing. And you trivialize things that you're supposed to like pay attention to. According to what you said, Are there tests? Well, yes. But are we Africans ready to take those tests? Oftentimes, no. We are not ready for psychological assessment. We are. How will I, why should I go to a psychiatrist? Am I mad? But that's not it.
Because we actually feel that it's meant for only mental
Mental
derailed
derailed
people.
people. But the thing is, get a counselor before marriage. You see, the pre-counseling stage in your marriage is a very important part of marriage process. Read books. Go for seminars. Don't be too busy to go for marriage seminars. When you hear some stories, you begin to add one and two together and say, okay, wait, it's like my fiancé is also giving me this kind of sign. And you start, knowing how to, like, babe, I realize that this and this, even to the littlest of details. Go for wedding counseling. During my stage of when I wanted to get married, thank God for the kind of mission I belong to, and thank God for the counseling unit that my church has. They are very detailed. They don't keep just this away and say, God forbid. We don't do that. Deal with it. Let's talk about it. Okay, create scenarios. In a scenario where this and this happens, what are you going to do? Let me give you an example. As a man, you marry a woman who does not like going to the market. You are not privy to that kind of lifestyle. All you know is give the money, come back and food is ready. But your wife now, wife to be, so to speak, doesn't like going to the market. But you love her, you want to marry her. What would you do? Allow the men to answer the question. Okay? You someone will say, why won't she go to the market? For me as a psychologist, I have underlined something there. But maybe someone is like, but I'll try and know why she doesn't like going to the market. That's another one. Do you understand?
Okay.
You can say that one is an understanding person, not somebody that has a closed mind. And some of these problems are results of environmental issue, environmental upbringing, even parental upbringing, peer pressure, peer group pressure, and all that. These are what form the basis of many of our behaviors. And unfortunately, they can't change it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd like to know this. I know we are actually talking about mostly about wedding couples' homes here, but I'm normal. Nothing is wrong with me. I'm not getting married yet. Am I also allowed to go to a psychiatry? I mean, yes, a psychological evaluation
yes.
to ask, I just want to know me. Or am I supposed to go for psychological evaluation when I want to get married? Can I do that even as a single person?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Without anything, like nothing is wrong with you?
Yes. Yes, you can. At a point in your life, you might want to have some retrospect on how you've fared in life, your interpersonal relationship, and you're like, okay, I think I really do want to know myself. These tests, they are not medical tests. They are just like, some can come in terms of questioning, some can come even in observation, your countenances and your body languages. Okay? So it takes a trained person do this own assessment and give you the results. It's not as if it's a right or wrong answer. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Try to know who you are. For somebody like me, I did it some years back. And I realized that I had something in me that I never knew I had. And I had to work on it. It came out that I was a stubborn person. But I never saw myself as one. I only saw myself as, I'm very disciplined, I'm very principled. But there are some places where I would have been diplomatic about, and I realized that I wasn't diplomatic enough. And it was interfering with my interpersonal relationship, especially at my workplace.
Okay.
I'm talking of when I was not yet married. So it's not about marriage alone. Even at work, you notice some persons are on as in there's no way you want to talk to them and you not be annoyed. Because they are always transferring aggression. They are always bringing issues that are non-existent. They are just, and people started tagging them sadists. But they don't know. But if you start thinking and taking a retrospect about your life and you're like, okay, I think there's some little things I'm not getting right. Why is it that everybody is saying this one thing about me? What is wrong with me? Do you understand? Get to know yourself. Get to know that, okay, in this kind of situation, how will I react? It has really affected marriages. It has. When you blow issues out of proportion, you used to be a lady that does not nag, but nagging has always been in you, but you didn't notice.
Because of how, this is how I do my things.
Yeah, this is how I do my
This
things.
is who I am.
I don't like cheating. I don't like this one. And you are only you are repeating it and saying it.
Let me just ask something, you know. All right, you know, this is something that almost all of us do. Maybe does. We'll just be like, this is how I do my things. No, that is who I am. Is there a tendency that those people that like using that word, that there's a lot they don't know about it?
Yes, there are.
They have a lot in them. They don't.
I am.
Oh.
This is who I am. It means you are impervious to correction. That is what it is.